Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gurur Atmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavato Sahana Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Bhadram Karne Vishhrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyem Hakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaye Stuttuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdhadatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, Namaste. Once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Who is going to offering to chant? Whose name is there? Last time, I think Narayanji, you did the last chanting, right?
Yes, Guruji. I
So,
did.
Rukmini Gopal ji, is she there? Is she present? Let me just see the list.
However, that explanation is not
Guruji.
for Guruji. We just chanted
Yeah, I know. We start class with whatever we have chanted in the last class.
Okay, got it. Thank
After
you.
that, we will get into explanation. So,
I can do it.
wait. Turn by turn. Okay, Sitaram, you want to do it? Okay. Otherwise, I will keep searching. Okay, 1 second. Right. Atra cha aparashabdavachyayam
Aparashabdavachyayam
Rigvedadi Lakshanayam
Rigvedadi Lakshanayam
Vidhi Pratisheda Matra Parayam
Vidhi Pratisheda Matra Parayam
Vidyayam Samsara Karana Vidyadi Dosha Nivartakatvam
Samsara Karana Vidyadi Dosha Nivartakatvam
Na Asti Iti
Na Asti Iti
Swayam
Eva
Uktva Parapara Vidya Vedakarana Purvakam
Parapara Vidya Veda Karana Purvakam
Avidyayam Antare Vartamanah
Avidyayam Antare Vartamanaha
Ityadhina Tatha Paraprapti Sadhanam
Tata Paraprapti Sadhanam
Sarva Sadhana Sadhya Vishaya Vairagya Purvakam
Sarva Sadhana Sadhya Vishaya Vairagya Purvakam
Guru Prasada Labhyam
Guru Prasada Labhyam
Brahma Vidyam Aha
Brahma Vidyam Aha
Pariksha Lokan
Pariksha Lokan
Ityadina. Quite a long sentence, but good. Thank you very much. You have got some Sanskrit background, Devanagari background, so good. Thank you very much. Very nice. So, as we were seeing in the last class, Bhashyakara has entered into a discussion on Anubandha Chatushtayam. the four important aspects of any scriptural text for the student to know and understand so that he can decide whether he wants to go ahead studying the text or not. The first aspect we saw was adhikaritva, eligibility to study the text by having the necessary qualifications for the study. And that is why, even in universities, a student of commerce will not get admission to engineering course. He is not an adhikari for engineering study. And here the subject matter of Brahman, which is an invisible entity, nobody in fact have ever heard of this Brahman. First time in life we are hearing. And they say that Upanishads give you the knowledge of Brahman. Now what is that Brahman you don't know? So whether you want to take up that study or not, the student has to decide. So for that, this Anubandha Chatushtayam is very useful. Because things like Brahman and all, it may look like an abstract concept to many. Not very easy to actually understand and also assimilate. Therefore, the Shastra prescribes certain qualifications for undertaking the study. So first, the student should ascertain if he possesses those qualifications. If not in full measure, but at least sufficiently to commence the study, and then he or she can continue to increase the qualification, improve the qualifications. And another important aspect of Anubandha Chatushtayam is the student must be very clear what his end goal of the study is and whether the study will help him to reach the goal, which in the context of Brahma Vidya should be moksha. Because any study can be undertaken for different purposes, isn't it? I may just study a text because I have to give some talk next week on a particular topic and I don't know much about it. So I will pick up a book and study. My goal is what? Study so much or that much only, which will help me to deliver my talk. But in the case of Brahma Vidya, Shastra prescribes that the student must be a mumukshu, a seeker of Paramapurushartha, the highest goal in life, which is moksha. Therefore, he first needs to figure out what is meant by moksha. Because different people have got, I wouldn't say different people, there are two sets of people who have got different ideas about moksha. So what do the Upanishads mean by moksha? He has to understand. And then evaluate whether the subject matter of the text, the Vishaya, will ensure that he will reach the goal. So thirdly, he must also be convinced about the prayojana, the main purpose of the study. Whether the purpose is just to acquire necessary qualifications so that he can become a professor of Vedanta in some foreign university, or he wants to set up an ashram to teach what he has learned, or he has a keen desire to be totally liberated from all the travails and turbulences of leading a life of a samsari. Because there are many possibilities. So the prayojana must be clear. And for the prayojana to be clear, he must be clear about the sambandha, the relationship between the means and the end. That this Upanishad is the sadhanam, the means, and moksha is the sadhyam, the goal. You must be very clear and convinced about that. That if my goal is moksha, liberation from samsara, this Upanishad text will help me in the spiritual path to reach that goal. And therefore, before commencing the study of the Upanishad text, or for that matter, any Vedantic text, the student must have full clarity on all these four aspects, which is referred to as Anubandha Chatushtayam. And as I said, Bhagavan Bhashyakara has now entered the topic and is explaining how this Mundaka Upanishad contains all the four aspects of Anubandha Chatushtayam. And therefore, a mumukshu, a person who has a keen desire for moksha, can confidently undertake the study of this Upanishad. So, in the previous sentence, starting from Prayojanena tu, Bhashyakara showed how one mantra in the Upanishad, Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi, will establish the sambandha, that is the connection between Vidya, the knowledge, and the Prayojana, the purpose, in the form of Sadhya Sadhana Lakshana Sambandham. In the form of Sadhya, the goal of moksha, and Sadhana, the means, which is the study of the Upanishad, which will eventually lead to that goal. Now we have to understand the sentence which we just now read out, starting with Atracha. And as I was saying at the end of the last class, in this sentence, Brahma Vidyam Aha is the main sentence. Because the trick to understand long sentences in any language, especially in Sanskrit, is to find and catch hold of the main sentence, which will give us the information about the subject matter of the paragraph. That is how we have to proceed. Especially Bhashyam and all, sometimes one sentence of Bhashyakara will run into 5 lines. You will get totally confused. What is he talking about? He packs so much information into his writing that a student who does not know the technique of unraveling, unfolding the entire message or the entire paragraph will be lost. Therefore, first we have to read the sentence. When we read the full sentence, we will get some idea what is being talked about, even though we may not get the full idea. But then we must have the skill to locate the main sentence in the whole paragraph. What is the subject matter of this paragraph will be there, one sentence will be there. So this main sentence here is Brahma Vidyam Aha. Aha means speaks of, tells, presents. And we have to also supply the Kartrupadam. Who is telling? Who is the Karta? God said Brahma Vidya speaks of Brahma Vidya. Who is speaking of Brahma Vidya? We must supply the Upanishad. This text Aha. This text speaks of Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. So this is the main sentence. Now, does the Upanishad talk about Brahman directly? Answer is no. Upanishad doesn't speak of this Brahma Vidya directly. Before talking about Brahma Vidya, Sangeeta ji, please mute yourself. You are disturbing the class. Everybody must be very, very, this thing. To mute. When you are not speaking, please mute yourself. And when the class is going on, please avoid any other telephone call and things like that and all. Are you in the class or are you in some shopping center where you can do shopping and talking together? If you are interested in the subject, please concentrate for 1 hour in the class. Keep everything aside. Otherwise, no point in you wasting your time and my time. Isn't it? So have discipline. As a student, every one of you should have certain discipline. Even if you get an urgent phone call, you can just say, I will call you later, ask if it is urgent. Then you can put, of course, when the phone call comes, you don't know whether it is urgent or not. So avoid taking phone calls and things like that and all. Avoid talking to people in your house. Don't give instructions. Okay, put salt in that, vegetable which is being cooked or do this, do that and all. Don't give instructions. Focus means focus on Upanishads. That is the most important qualification, first qualification which is required. Otherwise, please withdraw from the class. I am happy to have 2 students or 1 student who will listen, who is really interested in the subject matter, rather than having 15 students, 20 students who will just doing everything else along with the class going. Have some respect for the Guru, have some respect for the teaching, have some respect for the Shastra which you are learning. It is not an easy thing. Everybody doesn't get this opportunity to learn. So please be mindful in the class when you are logging in. Okay. Thank you. So as I was saying, the Upanishad doesn't speak of this Brahma Vidya directly. Before talking about Brahma Vidya, which here is called Paravidya, Upanishad talks about Aparavidya also. Now, what is this? What are these Paravidya, Aparavidya? Shastra defines Paravidya as any Vidya by which Brahman is understood, which is the Veda Anta Bhaga or the Upanishad Bhaga of the Vedas. This is called Paravidya. Any Vidya other than Paravidya is Aparavidya. And in this context, Aparavidya means Veda Purva Bhaga, Karma Kanda portion of the Veda. Contextually, that is, but any Vidya other than Paravidya is Aparavidya. But we have to see contextually also. So here Aparavidya means Veda Purva Bhaga, the Karma Kanda portion of the Veda. So in this Upanishad, Shruti makes the division of Paravidya and Aparavidya and then says that Aparavidya does not have the capacity to remove the cause of samsara. And then the Upanishad talks about Paravidya and says that this Vidya can be attained, that is Paravidya, which has got the capacity or capability to remove the cause of samsara. This Vidya can be attained by Vairagyam and also by the grace of the teacher. So, these are the main points talked about in this sentence. If we know this, then the sentence will be relatively easy to understand. As I said, otherwise we could get lost. Because even while writing prose, Adi Shankaracharya, because of his tremendous poetic, skill, he writes prose also in a poetic manner. He does not follow the regular anvaya of a prose. He doesn't speak in the order of the prose. So in his case, prose also we can make anvaya. Of course, if you know the Sanskrit language well, then there is no problem. But since we are understanding it in English language, therefore we have to connect the sentences appropriately in a slightly different manner. Because when we translate into English, a Sanskrit sentence into English, we have to be very careful. For example, if we take a sentence in Sanskrit, Ramah Gramam Gacchati. This is a perfect sentence in Sanskrit. Okay. But we cannot translate this in English in the same order. We cannot translate it as Rama village goes. Rama Gramam Gacchati. Rama to village goes. We have to translate it as Rama goes to the village. That is also in Sanskrit. If you convert this sentence, Rama Gacchati Gramam, is also a correct sentence in Sanskrit. So these kind of nuances are there in translation. And these things become very complicated when the sentences are long. Okay. So that is why one needs, to have a good knowledge of Sanskrit when we reading the Bhashyam. But then many Acharyas teach the Bhashyam with a sort of a ulterior motive, that by studying the Bhashyam, maybe some students will get interested in learning the language, Sanskrit language. And that is what we used to do in the Gurukulam. Sanskrit and Bhashyam used to go together. Initially, we will find it difficult because Sanskrit would follow the Bhashyam. We will not know much of Sanskrit. But maybe in the first year end, second year end, we would have reached a certain level in learning Sanskrit. Then the Bhashyam becomes very, very easy to understand and also very interesting to understand. We can see the various aspects of how Adi Shankara has actually written the Bhashyam. Anyhow, that's all glorifying the Bhashyam and the language. So, Atracha. Atracha means here in this Upanishad, in this text. Apara Shabda Vachyayam Rigvedadi Lakshanayam Vidhi Pratisheda Matra Parayam Vidyayam. Up to that is one sentence. Vidyayam. In this Vidya, which is called Apara Shabda Vachya. Vachya means denoted, referred to by the word Apara. So, Apara Shabda Vachyayam Vidyayam. In the knowledge referred to by the word Apara, or in simple words, in Apara Vidya. Which type of Apara Vidya? Rigvedadi Lakshanaya, which is comprising of Rigveda Adi, means what? Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandas, Jyotisham. So Rigvedadi means Bhashyakara is covering everything. 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas, which is known as the Karma Kanda. Rigvedadi Lakshanaya. Vidhi Pratisheda Matra Parayam. Parayam means committed to. This Aparavidya, which is committed to Vidhi Pratisheda Matra, merely to injunction and prohibition. Do's and don'ts. So, this is the description of Aparavidya. So, in Aparavidya, which is in the form of Rigveda, etc., and which is committed merely to injunctions and prohibitions, Samsara Karana Vidyadi Dosha Nivartakam Na Asti. Here we have to split Samsara Karana Vidyadi as Samsara Karana Avidyadi Dosha Nivartakam Na Asti. So, in that Vidya, in that Aparavidya, in that knowledge, the quality of Nivartaka, remover of, dosha, the defect, avidyadi, in the form of avidya, defects in the form of avidya, etc., which are karana, the cause for samsara, bondage, na asti, is not there. So, in this aparavidya, the quality of being the remover of the defects in the form of avidya, etc., which are the cause for samsara, is not there. So this is the exact translation I have given. So what is conveyed here is that Aparavidya is not capable of removing the cause for samsara. It doesn't have the power to remove the cause for samsara. Samsara here means bondage. And what is the cause of samsara? He says avidyadi, avidya, etc. What is this etc.? The Shastra itself says elsewhere, Bhashyakara also follows that, etc. stands for Kama and Karma. So generally when avidya, etc. is said, we add these two, Kama and Karma. So avidya, Kama and Karma, which are the causes of samsara, cannot be removed by this aparavidya. this karma kanda. Iti stands for, you can say, in this manner or thus. And we must also be very clear what is meant by samsara. We keep saying samsara bondage, and all. What is that samsara we are referring to? So we have seen that earlier also in other texts and all. The word samsara in Vedantic context has two aspects. One is called bhavaroga, or as Pujya Swamiji used to call, leading a life of becoming. We have discussed this during the introductory talks. And this life of becoming is the root cause for all our struggles, emotional hang-ups, and consequent unhappiness, sorrow, grief, etc. And this is what cause of the samsara, avidya, kama, and karma. And the second aspect of this samsara is punarapi jananam, punarapi marana. Being born again and again. Avidya, kama, karma. The karma portion is what? Karma represents here punya papa. So whole life you spend, I have to earn punyam. I must avoid papam. So you earn more and more punyam. But while earning punyam, papam cannot be avoided. Knowingly, unknowingly, you will be doing a lot of papa karma also. If not in this janma, in previous janma, you must have done. And so you are already carrying a big bundle of papa karma. In this janma, you actually add to the punya karma, all that is there. So this karma combination, punya papa, is bound to give you another janma, another birth, depending upon which is qualitatively better. The punya quantity is better, or karma, the papa quality is better. Depending on that, you can get a human birth. In fact, you can start from the birth of devatas, then human birth, then animal birth, then plant birth, any birth you can get. So moksha is getting rid of both these aspects. Bhavaroga as well as punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. That is what is samsara is about. As we go along, we will discuss more and more because the Upanishad itself discusses a lot of things. So this apara vidya is not capable of removing the cause of samsara. Who says so? Vashyakara says, Swayam eva uktva. Having told by oneself, Swayam literally means oneself. Here oneself means what? Upanishad itself. So the Upanishad itself talks about this particular fact, that apara vidya cannot remove the samsara karana. And how does it say? He quotes a mantra. Avidyaya mantare vartamana hai. Astamundaka, second kanda, 8th mantra. Ityadina. So you have to connect with that. In the 8th mantra, it will be said, Avidyaya mantare vartamana hai, swayam dhira hai, panditam manyamana hai, janganyamana hai, pariyanti mooda hai, andhe neiva niyamana yathanda hai. So the Upanishad, that time we will see this mantra in great detail when we come to that. So what the Upanishad will say is, people who are steeped in avidya, and here the word avidya is used for aparavidya. And let us understand, avidya is not the sense of ignorance that we talk about. Here it is much broader sense. You have to take aparavidya, entire aparavidya. So in this aparavidya, in the Karmakanda portion of the Veda, Vartamana hai, people who are engaged or remaining, they pariyanti, they keep wandering in samsara. And in fact, the 7th mantra, one before, it is said, Jara mrityum te punarevapi yanti. They attain jara mrityu, old age and death. Punareva api again and again, they attain this old age and death. Means what? This janma, old age and death. Next janma also old age and death. When you have no release from this bondage of continuous rebirths. So, the apara vidya is not capable of removing the cause of samsara. People who are remaining in avidya, who are following this karma kanda alone, either they are performing kamya karma or dharma for earning punya, all such people are living in samsara bondage only. So he says, dosha nivartakatvam na asti. Dosha nivartakatvam means removal of the defect. What is the defect? Samsara is the basic defect. Why defect? Because samsara is responsible for all our unhappiness, sorrow, grief, all miseries in life. So, aparavidya, practice of karma kanda, does not have the capacity to remove avidya, etc., which is the cause for samsara. And one more point is added. Parapara vidya bedakarana purvakam. So he has mentioned this idea that apara vidya is not capable of removing the cause of samsara. This, he says, the Upanishad mentions after mentioning the division of paravidya and aparavidya. That is why para aparavidya bheda karana purvakam. So the statement that aparavidya cannot remove samsara was preceded by the division or statement of division between paravidya and aparavidya. Bheda karna purvakam means preceded by making the division. Bheda means division or difference. Karana means making. Purvakam means preceded by. So, preceded by making division between paravidya and aparavidya, higher knowledge and lower knowledge, we can roughly translate, or superior knowledge and inferior knowledge. Of course, there is no superiority, inferiority. Purpose itself is different. Karma kanda purpose is different. Jnana kanda purpose is different. But for our understanding, the way Upanishad looks at it, paravidya and aparavidya, because in the first mantra of the first kanda, these words come, tatra para rigvedo yajurveda. And before that, dve vidye veditavye iti hasma yat brahmavido vadanti paracha avar chaiva paracha eva aparacha. These are all mantras we will see in the Upanishad. So the Shruti itself is making the division that there are two types of vidya, paravidya and aparavidya. And then it goes on to describe the aparavidya. So Shruti is doing the division. It is not a division made by Bhashyakara himself. So that is what is mentioned here. Parapara vidya bheda karana purvakam. So Shruti first makes the division paravidya, aparavidya, and later Shruti says aparavidya cannot remove samsara. Then after saying that aparavidya cannot remove samsara, what does the Shruti do? Brahma vidyam aha. Afterwards, Shruti is talking about Brahma vidya, which is otherwise called paravidya. That's why he said tatha afterwards, or similarly, paraprapti sadhanam, the means for the attainment of the highest. Here the highest refers to Brahman, moksha. So paraprapti sadhanam is an adjective for Brahma vidya. So after talking about the division of para and apara, and incapacity of apara vidya to give moksha, Shruti talks about Brahma Vidya, which is the means for the attainment of Brahman or moksha. So this is one adjective, Brahma Vidya Paraprapti Sadhana. Then another adjective is Sarva Sadhana Sadhya Vishaya Vairagya Purvakam. Purvakam means preceded by, as I already told you, Vairagyam, dispassion. Dispassion towards what? Vishaya. Here the word Vishaya doesn't mean subject, but it stands for the objects which are Sarva Sadhana Sadhya, which are in the form of all means and ends. So one should have Vairagyam towards all objects, which can either be the means or the end. What does it mean? Like suppose I am doing a ritual. The ritual is sadhana, a means for attaining something. Say if I am doing a ritual for going to Swarga, then Swarga is the goal, the sadhya, right? Ritual is the sadhana, Swarga is the sadhya. But both are objects only. Swarga is also an object and yaga or ritual is also an object. Only thing is, one is object in the form of sadhanam, another is in the is an object in the form of sadhyam. Suppose I am doing Avahanti Homa for getting money. The Avahanti Homa is also an object, Vishaya. And Sadhyam, the money, is also an object. So the objects can be either means or end. And this can be applied to anything. What is Shruti says, one has to have Vairagyam towards both. Suppose someone says, I have got Vairagyam only towards sadhana. Means I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do any rituals. But I want artha. I want kama, lot of money I want. Then it is not a complete Vairagya. Then there are some people who want everything without putting in necessary effort as a means to get the desired things. That's also not a complete Vairagya. So on the one hand, you don't want to do anything, but you want the end result. On the other hand, you don't want to, you don't know what is the goal and you are just putting on the efforts without any idea. So there also, you don't have Vairagyam towards the goal. So one should have Vairagyam towards both the means and the end. That is what is emphasized. There are people, they say, no, I am not interested in, lot of money and all that. That is the Vairagyam towards Sadhyam. But I cannot remain doing without doing this or that. So he thinks that he has to be engaged in a lot of activities, especially rituals and things like that. But he's not interested in any, money or any wealth, etc. out of it, or even punya. But actually speaking, there must be a purpose. He either doesn't realize it or he is not speaking it out, spelling it out. The sadhyam is also there. But at least apparently when he says, it looks like he has got sadhya vairagyam, but sadhana vairagyam is not there. Both vairagyam is required. And generally, whenever there is a raga for sadhanam, there will always be some sadhyam. There is a beautiful saying, Prayojanam anuddishya mandopi na pravartate. Swami Paramarthananda quotes this quite often. Without having a purpose, even a dim-witted person will not do anything. So there will always be some sadhyam, even though the person may not accept it or he may not express it. Okay, he may not be interested in getting money, but he may be interested in getting some fame. That also could be a sadhya. Therefore, vairagyam towards everything is the qualification required for jnanam. So, Brahma Vidya, which is preceded by dispassion towards all objects which are in the form of means and ends, is the moksha sadhanam, means for moksha. And then one more adjective is used. Brahma Vidya, Guru Prasada Labhya. This Vidya is Labhya, achievable through what? Guru Prasada, through the grace of the teacher. And how is it indicated? Bhashyakara quotes from the Upanishad. Pariksha Lokan Ityadina, he says. The whole mantra is Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmanaha Nirvedamayat Nasti Akrita Kritena Tad Vijnanartam Sat Gurumeva Bhigachet Samit Pani Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. One of the most important mantras in the entire Upanishads. It occurs in this Mundaka Upanishad. Pariksha Loka. In fact, a similar idea is expressed in Kathopanishad also. So Shruti herself says that one has to go to the teacher. Tad Vijnanartam Gurum Eva Abhigachet. One goes to the teacher to get this knowledge. It means what? This Vidya is Guru Prasada Labhya. Bhashyakara, he has got so much reverence for the Guru. So he uses the word Guru Prasada Labhya. He could have simply said Guru Labhya, means attained from the Guru. But he wants to add one more dimension of the grace of the teacher, which is very essential. And that is why in the beginning of the class itself, we chant Sahana Avatu Sahana Bhunaktu. There should be no stress or tension between the Guru and Shishya. Only when the Guru loves the Shishya, loves the attitude of the Shishya, loves the reverential attitude of the Shishya towards Shastra, towards Guru, towards everything related to this teaching, as we saw, in the previous portion. Then Guru will not only merely teach, he will also bless the student. May you succeed in all that you want to succeed in this spiritual path. So, Guru Prasada Labhyam Brahma Vidyam Aha. So, this Brahma Vidya, for this Brahma Vidya, there are three adjectives. Paraprapti Sadhanam, Sarva Sadhana Sadhya Vishaya Vairagya Purvakam, and Guru Prasada Labhyam. These are the preconditions, or you can say the features of this Brahma Vidya. So this Vidya is the means for the attainment of Paramatma. And this Vidya is achieved when it is preceded by Vairagyam, Vairagyam towards Sadhana Sadhya, and it is achievable through the grace of teacher. Thus, this is the content of this Upanishad, which is also talked about by Bhashyakara. Then he points out here, as we have seen, one of the important contents of this Upanishad, that is, this Upanishad is talking about the division of para and apara. And this Upanishad talks about incapacity of apara vidya to give moksha. And this Upanishad talks about knowledge of Brahman, which is achieved by Vairagyam and grace of the teacher. So the sambandha between vidya, knowledge, with prayojana, the purpose, has been pointed out. And Vishaya, the subject matter of the Upanishad, has also been dealt with. So now in the next sentence, the prayojanam of Anubandha Chatushtaya, prayojanam of the Upanishad is talked about. Earlier, we talked about the prayojanam in the context of Anubandha Chatushtaya. Here, he is pointing out the prayojanam in the context of the Upanishad, where it occurs in the Upanishad, by quoting the mantras. So we will read the next sentence. So who is going to read? Krishnaji, you want to try? Rukminiji, has she joined?
Yeah, Krishnan here.
Okay, you will do. Okay. I will read. You just repeat. You don't need to even look at the text. It's a small sentence. Okay.
Yes.
Prayojanam cha
Prayojanancha
asakrit
asakrit
braviti
prahiti
brahma veda
brahma veda
brahmaiva bhavati
brahmaiva bhavati
iti
iti
paramritaha
paramrutaha
parimucyanti sarve
parimucyanti sarve
iti cha.
iti cha.
Thank you. Good. If you don't know Sanskrit, so what? You can certainly
No.
chant very well.
Since I know a little Hindi,
Yeah, that's true.
so I
Whatever
can read.
we nourish what we know, it grows. Isn't it?
Yes.
That is what it is. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Very much. So braviti. Braviti means talks about. What? Prayojanam, the purpose. So the Upanishad talks about the purpose of this Vidya. Cha means and. Cha asakrit. Cha means and. Asakrit means more than once. Because the word sakrit means once. Asakrit means repeatedly, more than once. So asakrit braviti. What is the prayojanam? How does he present? He says, there is a mantra, Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. One who knows Brahman, Brahma Veda. Here, the Veda is a verb, not a noun. Huh? With dhatu. With dhatu. So, Veda is a verb, means knows. So, Brahma Veda means one who knows Brahman. We can supply if you want. Yaha Brahma Veda. One who knows Brahman. Saha Brahmaiva Bhavati. He becomes Brahman alone. We discussed this in the last class also, probably a little bit. I don't remember whether we discussed here or in the Bhagavad Gita, but doesn't matter. So this is the Upanishad mantra says, one who knows Brahman, he becomes Brahman alone. Brahma eva bhavati. So this is the peculiarity of this Vidya. What you know, you become. Unlike other knowledge. In other Vidya, what happens? If you know, for example, if you study chemicals, you don't become chemicals. Nor you want to become chemicals, isn't it? Bhagavan has given you a very fantastic birth as a human being. But here, what you know and what you become by having the knowledge is the same. And this is another mystery for people. You have to understand what it means. So when we see the mantra, we will understand that. Many people will question because in their mind, they don't know what is Brahma Vidya is. All that they know when you talk of knowledge is knowledge of science, chemistry, maths, astrophysics, so many things, millions of topics are there. So how can you become that of which you have got knowledge is the question. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam, Bhashyakara also raises this issue. Because the scriptures say, describe Brahman or Atma as avikara hai, etc. And it says that you become akarta. That by knowing Brahman, I become Brahman. All this say. So they say, no, I am seeing myself doing so many things day in and day out. How can be a akarta? There are so many changes going on in me. I can see myself. The hair was thick and black. Now there is no hair, or whatever is left is also grey. How can be avikara hai without change? So all these questions are all there in people's mind with respect to Brahma Vidya. But these are all the secrets of Brahma Vidya. That by knowing Brahman, you become Brahman is a secret. Why it is a secret? It is actually an open secret. Shruti will say, you are already Brahman. Since you are already Brahman, and there is only ignorance of Brahman, therefore knowledge alone is required so that the ignorance goes away and you own up yourself to be Brahman. So this is what is the answer to that question. And that is what is said, Brahma Veda Brahma Iva Bhavati Iti. So the Upanishads contain lot of such sentences which will look a little bit illogical to us. But then, as I said during the introductory talks, whenever something looks, out of place for us, we must inquire more into it. With the help of the Bhashyam, Tika, and so many sources are there, then we will know what exactly is the Upanishad is saying. And that is why Guru is very important. A Guru has come in the parampara, he has learned all these things as per the tradition. So he knows exactly what all these things mean. So he will be able to teach you. But then somebody may ask, Brahma Bhavati, okay, so what? If I become Brahman, so what? So they don't understand what is meant by becoming Brahman. Brahman is Purna hai. So by becoming Brahman, you attain Purnatvam. You own up yourself to be limitless. Then somebody else may ask, so what? So what if I become Purna hai? And we tell them, Purnatvam is that where this question itself does not arise. So what question doesn't arise? Having owned up the Purnatvam, one does not ask this question. Once you are complete, limitless, what more can you add to that? You cannot add something to infinity, isn't it? So if you are still asking, I have got Purnatvam, but it has not made any difference in my life, that means you have not got it. So attainment of Purnatvam is that where the question of what next doesn't arise. What more doesn't arise. When you own up yourself to be infinite, nothing more can be added to it. And therefore, knowledge of Brahman, owning up of Purnatvam, which gives Triptihi. Where is the question of remaining what next? What more? I have to get. Nothing is there to get. That is what is the meaning of Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. Then he says, he quotes another mantra, Paramritaha Parimuchyanti Sarve. Sarve means all. Parimuchyanti means becomes free from all aspects. In all respects, they become free. Paritaha Muchyanti. So all those who attain this knowledge become free from all aspects. Para Amrita go beyond the mortality. They become one with the highest immortality. Para means the highest, Amrita means immortal. Means having discovered oneself to be absolutely immortal, one becomes free in all respects. Because all our struggle in our life, if you sit down and analyze, it is all about Artha, Kama and, mainly rather, Artha and Kama. It's all about security. We put locks on the door. Why? We don't want intruders to come. And we are senior citizens, they may even kill us. So we do all those things all night, no sleep. We hear some noise. Oh my God, somebody seems to have entered the house. So tomorrow I will install a burglar alarm. So more and more things we keep on doing for Artha and Kama. But once you have discovered your real nature, so discovering real nature is a very simple sentence. What it means, we will see. The whole Upanishad is about that. Then, Parimuchyanti Sarve. He is free from all, he becomes free from all aspects. This word Para Amrita will be explained later when we come to the mantra in the Upanishad itself. Because there is also a concept of relative immortality. So in the Shastra, they talk about two things. Absolute immortality means one who has discovered I am immortal, I am consciousness, I am immortal, become free from all bondage. And there is what you call a relative immortality, which is talking about going to Swarga. And there also they talk about immortality, rather, Amrita. So we will discuss all these things when we come to the mantra. Rather. So he has talked about the prayojana aspect of and quoted the mantras from the Upanishads where the prayojana aspect is explained. So now Bhashyakara talks about adhikari. Sambandha, he has talked about. Vishaya, he has talked about. Vishaya is Brahman. Now he has talked about prayojana in the previous sentence. Now he talks about adhikari for this Upanishad, this Brahma Vidya. Who will read? Next person.
I will try. I will read.
One person. Okay. Whoever it is. Others, please mute. Yana matre.
Jnana matre.
Yadyapi.
Yatyapi.
Sarvashraminam.
Sarvashraminam.
Adhikaraha.
Adhikaraha.
Tathapi. Tatapi. Sannyasa nishta eva.
Sannyasa nishta eva.
Brahma Vidya.
Brahma Vidya.
Moksha sadhanam.
Moksha sadhanam.
Na karma sahita iti.
Na karma sahita iti.
Vaikshacharyam charantaha.
Vaikshacharyam charantah.
Sannyasa yogat.
Sannyasa yogat.
iti cha bhruvan
iducha bhuvan
darshayati.
darshayati.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Very nicely done. So one more very important point Bhashyakara raises here. Bhashyakara says that even though everybody has a God for Brahma Jnanam, Jnana Matre Sarvashraminam Adhikara hai. A brahmachari can have, grihastha can have, vanaprastha can have, and sannyasi also can have. But this Brahma Vidya will be effective. Effective means result producing when it is sannyasa nishtha, when it is rooted in or supported by sannyasa. What does that mean? Does it mean that all of us have to take sannyasa now for getting the result of this Brahma Vidya? Will be the question uppermost in our mind. So we will see the details in the next class. Okay. I will leave it as a suspense. But don't have any tension. Till Thursday, you can sleep well. You don't need to take sannyas. Okay. I will say the prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Harihi Om. धन्यवाद है. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much, Guruji. Namaskar.
नमस्कार है.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Dhanyawad.
much, Guruji.
Thank you,
Guruji,
Guruji.
thank you.
I hope all of you have
Thank
marked
you,
your
Guruji.
attendance.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Yes, Girish ji, first question.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om.
So we have started our journey, and for the last 7 classes, actually, we are only laying the foundation. That's really great, because to understand the basics before we really get into the Upanishad, I sincerely appreciate that. Having said so, you said actually Muntako Upanishad is from Atharvana Veda, and it's also from Atharva Rishi. Correct? And is it the same applicable to the other Vedas also? Actually, is it named after? Okay.
See, various rishis. In fact, we don't have, only in the case of Atharvana Veda, we know Atharva Rishi.
Okay.
He got this. I think Atharva and Angirasa Rishi, 2 rishis got this, right?
Okay.
The mantras of the Mundaka Upanishad. Or all Upanishads belonging to Atharvana Veda. You can put it that way. Yeah, Mundaka Upanishad is not the only Upanishad belonging to Atharvana Veda. Other Upanishads also.
Okay.
So every Veda has got its own set of Upanishads.
Okay.
Now, which Rishi got and all that is not known at all in many
Okay.
cases.
And it's not necessary to know also. Okay.
Not necessary, because you see, only today, these days, copyrighted, this and were made by so and so, written by so and all that. Those days, they didn't want to take any credit for anything. What they received, they transmitted. That's all.
Agree. Agree.
So that is the thing. For us, what is important? What is being told? Does not matter who is telling it, isn't it?
Correct. I just wanted to know actually
Yeah,
whether there is any.
fair enough, no problem. Well, these
Okay.
are all small points which should not unnecessarily bother our mind. So you get it clarified immediately. That's all.
Correct. Now, when we talk about Vairagya, on one side, we are telling we should have detachment or Vairagya for anything and everything. But on the other hand, also we are telling that we should have the burning desire as a mumukshu to know Brahman. Okay, knowing is being. That is what you have told very clearly. So it's not an attainment. It is already there. It's only a matter of only discovering what you are exactly and understand the true nature. So my question is whether this mumukshatvam and the vairagyam, how do we actually
What did Bhashyakara say? Vairagyam towards all objects.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All materialistic things. Not only objects, the means to achieve those objects also you must have vairagyam towards. But here we are not talking about objects, we are talking about the subject.
Okay.
I want to know about myself. I want to reach the goal, fully understand and assimilate Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi is not an object. Aham is
Correct.
subject matter, isn't it? I am the subject. In English also, I always is a subject in any sentence. So the vairagyam is required towards
Only
all
the means.
objects, external objects, materialistic objects. And because of that, when we are freed because of vairagyam towards materialistic objects, our entire focus, our entire concentration will be diverted towards knowing about this Brahma Vidya. You cannot be sailing in 2-3 boats at the same time. You have to remove your leg from one boat, from all other boats, and put both the legs in only one boat. So it says, get rid of all the other thing with vairagya, focus only on mumukshutvam. That's what it says.
Okay.
So that
Detachment from the worldly.
worldly things.
Okay.
That is why sannyasa ashrama. Now we just today touch the topic. Now it's a very big topic. This sannyasa ashrama topic is a very big topic. We will not go into too detail because then only it will be sannyasa Upanishad, not Mundaka Upanishad. But we will touch upon very salient aspects because here, surprisingly, Bhashyakara is saying that the best adhikari for learning this Upanishad is a sannyasi.
Correct.
So that is a question mark, right? So have you to necessarily become a sannyasi? Bhashyakara is saying that. It is not somebody, I mean, the top surgeon in this thing has told that this has got the operation has to be done. Surgery has to be done. You can't question, there cannot be any second opinion. But we must understand what is Bhashyakara meaning by saying that.
Okay.
So he is very clever. He says, even though everybody else is adhikari, the best adhikari is a sannyasi. Why he is saying that, we will see that.
Okay.
And that too, the sannyasi has got, one can become sannyasi only with vairagyam. Vairagyam towards what? Not vairagyam towards Vidya, Brahma Vidya. Vairagyam towards other things, objects, Vishayas. Okay.
Including Aparavidya.
Including Aparavidya. We will see all that.
Okay.
It's a very big debate. Aparavidya, Vairagyam, Paravidya. Very, very big debate. Some aspects we will touch upon how that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Srikanji.
Guruji, I had a question.
Yeah.
There are 3 quotations that are given in this in this entire class today. One quotation is Brahmavid Brahmavya Bhavati. Is that coming in this Mundaka Upanishad?
He is pointing out how the Anubandha Chatushtayam is dealt with in this Upanishad, and he is quoting the mantras. In this mantra, this is dealt with. In this mantra, this aspect is dealt with. That is what Bhashyakara is doing. So all the mantras that he is quoting are all coming in this Upanishad.
Okay. Okay, Guruji.
We will see all those mantras in detail.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yes, Arun Kumarji. I think Lataji also raised her hand, but she's missing now. Yes,
No, Namaste, Guruji. Yes, I have raised my hand, but then my query got clarified during discussion with the Girishji. Yeah, mine was also the same, that Sarva Sadhana Sadhya Vishaya Vairagya, it pertains to Apara Vidya and not...
Yeah.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yes, Arun Kumarji.
Guruji, it's not a question. I'm not able to place the Vakya which has been pronounced because I joined today. I had been seeing the recorded this thing, but I don't know Sanskrit, so Actually, I don't know which part today we have dealt with. Actually, it's
See,
totally
you don't know.
no English.
First, the text you have got in your front.
Yes, I have got the Vakya. Sorry, that whatever you have shared, that I have got, sir.
1 second.
Called.
No, wait.
Oh, it is not in this fashion. It is in.
No, wait. Just 1 minute. Give me a second. I will put the text on the screen and show you where we are.
Yes, please.
Okay. The problem is this class Acrobat reader.
Sorry.
No. Because I have many files open. I don't know which file is this. What is that called? The whole Bhashyam file. 1 second. Let me open the Bhashyam file. Bhashyam Unicode.
112, sir, or after 112 or 113.
What is 112?
I mean, in the black, the Vakya is there. So there next to that, at the end of it, there is a number.
112 reference to mantras.
Correct. Are we in 112?
Oh yeah, can you see the screen now?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay.
Yes.
Now where we are, I'll show you. So we started this whole this thing with Om Brahma Vidyavana, right? So here, if you see, Atra, here we read.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Vairagya Guru Prasada Labhyam Brahma Vidyam Aha Pariksha Logan Ityadina. Right?
Pariksha Logan
Ityadina. Up to this he was then Prayojanam cha asakrit braviti brahmaveda brahmaiva bhavati iti paramrita parimucyanti sarve iti cha. This is another sentence which we read today, right? And I explained also. So then now we are dealing with this sentence. Jnana matre yadyapi sarvashraminam adhikara hai tatapi sannyasa nishtaiva ब्रह्म विद्या मोक्ष साधनम न कर्म संहिता इति वैक्षचर्याम चरन्तः संसार योगात् संन्यास योगात् इति च ब्रुवन् दर्शयति. This sentence we are now dealing with. I will explain this sentence in the next class. You got it now?
Thank you. I got it.
So now once you have got, then you can follow one by one sentence. I will go on explaining this entire.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll come back again.
Yes, yeah, one more. Yeah.
This Paramrita Paramukshanti survey is what we chant for inviting sannyasis, right? And this is occurring in Shvetashvara Upanishad also.
Also, yes. Also.
Okay, Guruji.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, I think then we will close the class. And continue on Thursday. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Guruji. Good night.
Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.